We have a dynamo. He is going throughout the state of California, shaking things up. His name is Ben Bergquam. He is the founder of Frontline America and the co-founder of FightSanctuaryState.com. Welcome to the Erin Cruz Show, Ben.
It's an honor to be on here. Thanks for having me, Erin.
Oh my gosh, no, it's an honor to have you on here. It's just amazing. Tell us about, your activism, what got you into politics, and a little bit about your background.
Well, that goes back a long ways. My parents were missionaries. I was born in Dallas. My parents were missionaries in Africa, so they were 10 years over there. We came back here when I was young, and actually we're supposed to be in the Central Valley. Actually, we started in San Jose. We're supposed to be there for 3 weeks. 20 some odd years later, we're still here in California.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's a long time. It's a good stint.
Yeah,
You're not going anywhere?
You never know what God's going to do and the plans that God has. And I grew up in a country town out of the Central Valley, up in the foothills outside of the Central Valley.
Right.
Learned a work ethic from an early age. But I was born in Dallas. Parents were missionaries overseas. In West Africa, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and Niger. My sister was actually born there, so she's one of the lightest-skinned African Americans you'll ever meet. But, all American. And that's one of those things that really frustrates me when I hear people complaining about America that have never traveled around the world, that have never experienced what third world poverty really is. Oh. And so, we traveled around the world. We settled in the Central Valley in a small agricultural ag community up in the foothills outside of the Central Valley, and learned a work ethic from an early age. And I didn't really get involved politically. I mean, I grew up with great parents that taught me right and wrong, and they taught me to really, they set the foundation for Christian conservatism.
Right.
And it wasn't really until college that I took that and I started to apply it and say, okay, why are there illegal aliens in my classes that are getting full ride scholarships, and I'm struggle just to survive here? And looking at each situation, why are taxes so high in California, and all the social issues and the undermining of families and the undermining of fathers. And so I got involved in college, started a conservative values company at Fresno State,
which
led me to help start the Central Valley Tea Party, got me involved with candidates, and just it was a gradual progression that I felt really the Lord leading me into from an early.
So part of it is faith.
What's that?
Part of it is faith-based.
Oh yeah, no, that from an early age, God put a vision when I was about 10 years old that I was gonna, kind of a weird thing to say, but maybe.
No, not at
but
all.
it was the vision of me on a battlefield for the Lord, and that we were going to be fighting, and I was going to be standing beside other warriors. And this was when I was about 10 years old. I remember thinking this, and now we're here. I feel like this is the beginning of the war that we were in.
Right.
I finished my degrees, got 2 degrees from Fresno State, went into corporate retail for a few years, had my soul sucked out, and then
your soul sucked out. Well, you learned a lot too in the process, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And all of those things, went off track, got involved in drugs and alcohol, and really Satan tried to take my life in a direction that of uselessness, and to a place where God couldn't use me. And God restored my life, restored my path and his direction for my life. And about 2 years ago, when Trump came out and announced it, that was where I really felt God calling me back into getting heavily involved. So I literally started with a Facebook Live video with my daughter in a Walmart, showing how to get around the plastic bag ban in California by using produce bags. Wow. And that was the start of my, re-engagement in political activism. Many have seen the
So you're a family man too. Let's touch on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
you're a family man. So this is very real to you. What's going on in California? You're concerned for the future of your daughter and your family and future generations.
I do what I do, well, primarily because God has called me to it. But really, the secondary part is my wife and my 2 daughters. I'm the protector of our household, but I see my daughters, the future that they are growing into, and it's my duty to give them the best future that I can and to stand on behalf of their future. And so, absolutely, they are the most important people in my life, and so that I absolutely do that for them. Yeah, and actually, one of the things, the turning point in all of this, in Berkeley, April 15th of last year.
Boy, that was a heated time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really the crucible. I went there on my own. I didn't know anybody. I mean, I knew the people, my sphere of influence in the Central Valley, but I didn't know anybody in Berkeley. And so, but I felt the call. Like, you'd seen what had happened with Milo's event being shut down, and all these, people out there with masks on. And I'd actually seen those people. I went to the inauguration a few months before that and seen those, these criminals that are just trying to undermine our country. So I felt like I needed to be there. So I went over. My wife was 8 months pregnant at the time with our second daughter, and I decided for whatever reason, she decided to come, which was
she did.
Yes. Well,
she's a brave woman.
Well, she didn't come to the event, so she came with me, and then I dropped her off to go shopping and hang out with our other daughter, who's 7 now, or just turned 8 yesterday. But
happy birthday.
Yeah, I dropped them off to do their thing, and then I went out just to observe and report and engage. And my call is shining light in the darkness and exposing the lies of the left and raising up the Christian conservative warriors, the remnant that's here in California. And so that's what I went out there to do. I was having a few conversations, ended up getting attacked, had my hat stolen, went into the crowd of Antifa, got 7 stitches on my head.
Oh my gosh.
6 on my ear, and it was one of those moments, ended up with a bloody face, that a picture that went viral, went all over the world.
Right. Well, I saw that. I was looking up some information about you, and I had forgotten. Time goes so quickly in the political landscape. The issues come, the issues go, more issues come, more issues go. And I looked back, and I mean, it was a fierce moment in time. And it's brutal. And I mean, you really were standing up for the good fight and for freedom and the goodness and future of future generations, and for freedom, really. And here you are beaten up. It just was, and the photos were horrific. How did your wife and your daughter feel about that?
Well, kind of equally upset, I would say. I had to call my wife on someone else's phone because they ended up breaking my phone as well, and had to tell her. Luckily, they weren't there. I'm glad they weren't there to actually see it. Right. I went in. I had the beauty of it was I had this sign that said "Stop Liberal Intolerance," and at the end of this, I'm bloody. My sign. And I still actually have the sign.
They're so intolerant.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I. What the enemy meant for evil, God has used for good. But that moment when my wife came to pick me up afterwards, the worst part was seeing the look on my daughter's face, the fear in her eyes. She was 6 at the time, and to see that, she couldn't understand it. Why? My dad's a nice guy. Why would people be so mean? Like she does, a child can't really comprehend. And going to the hospital, having to get the stitches, it took her quite a while to really get beyond. I mean, it was every time I'd go somewhere, she would. You could see it in her eyes that she was really concerned. So that was probably the hardest part for me. And I really had to sit down and think, okay, is what I'm doing worth it? Is it worth putting myself in harm's way to fight for what I believe in? And I promised my wife that I wouldn't do anything else until she had our second child. Right. And I did. Waited about a month. But I really felt the Lord say, yes, this is what I'm called to do. I don't want to get stitches. I don't want to get bloody.
Well, no one aims to have conflict or get hurt. But, in order to, these are God-given rights that we exercise every day, right? But in order to retain them from the people who are trying to take them away and restrict us, we have to take action and be out there and protest and be forward, have free speech, exercise free speech, and be loud.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I think about our forefathers, the people, a lot of them lost everything, and they put their lives on the line. And then the veterans that have come before us that have fought, and many have died. And so to me, this is.
And they're still fighting.
And they're still fighting. And so for me, as a civilian, it's our duty. When there is an attack within our own country, it's our duty as American patriots to stand up and fight back. And so that was what kind of launched Frontline America, and everything else ultimately ended up launching Fight Sanctuary State and what we're doing there. And so,
can you tell us? I want you to. I love your story, and I know I'm going to have you back on again. But I want you to share a little bit about these projects. So one of them is Frontline America. Is that, I know you have a radio show. Is that tied into your radio show and Facebook?
Yeah. That was all started. It's all kind of grown to where it is now. So Frontline America is the platform, most of which I do on Facebook, Frontline America with Ben Bergquam. Right. And the radio show is Frontline Radio. It's on KGED out of Fresno, the Salem network here.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and so it's designed to do those two things: expose the lies of the left and the enemy, and raise up the Christian conservative remnant. So everything I do within the Frontline America brand, now we have a nonprofit, Frontline America Foundation as well. All of that to help educate on the founding principles of our nation and everything. All of that is designed to expose the lies and raise up the remnant. And so whatever I'm doing within those, it's developing that, whether we're doing, little videos to do that, or actually going out. And one of the competitive advantages, or one of the gifts God has given me, is the ability to stay calm under pressure and in very hostile situations and still smile. And the enemy can't stand it. And so we go out, and that's what I do. I take my camera, I go out and I engage and I document, and I try to find some common ground, because not all leftists or not all Democrats are lost. There are some that you can plant seeds with. And then the other ones we're out there to expose, to bring more of the sane people to our side and really raise up the people that are going to stand and fight. Because we're so close, we're a generation away from losing this nation. And so that everything I do in Frontline America is designed around that philosophy.
And I think we're even closer than that to losing California. We're really super close. We're at the point of... we're at a crossroads.
Yes.
So, what you're doing is really important.
I totally agree. And this is why, so this kind of comes to Fight Sanctuary State, but it also comes to why you and I are still here. We are called to stay. Now, I have many friends that have left. I've thought about leaving, but I actually, speaking
of vision. It's so tempting. That's how you know it's not right.
But you think about that, and it's like, it would be like if you had cancer, and you decided to, rather than deal with the cancer, focus on some other area of your body. Obviously, you got to deal with the cancer. You got to deal with that thing that's going to kill the body. And California is that cancer. And so I felt like this is, if we're going to fight, we have to fight. We have to win here. If we all leave California, this cancer is going to spread and destroy the whole country.
It already is spreading.
It is, absolutely.
That's how I view it. I've watched, Washington, Minnesota, Colorado, parts of Arizona, now parts of Texas. It's slowly spreading. Many people who are here in California have left, and many of them are progressive left because they don't realize that they're choking themselves out as far as their legislation and policy and what have you. But they're moving out to these other states. It's spreading. It's not going away. It's actually growing and festering elsewhere. So you are right. Liberalism, progressive left ideologies, communist ideologies are a cancer. Yeah. And they need squashed out with the light of freedom.
But I also believe that right now we're in a pivotal moment where the left has swung so far, that pendulum has swung so far that even sane Democrats are looking at it saying, what the heck's going on?
Right.
Why? This doesn't represent me. This far left, socially debased society doesn't represent me. And so, and one of those issues, and this is where the Fight Sanctuary State comes in, one of those issues that both Republicans and Democrats agree on is protecting American citizens over illegal aliens.
Right, exactly.
So that's where this, we've got the initiative. Fight Sanctuary State is not just a website. We actually have an initiative. We've got title and summary to overturn the Sanctuary State, SB 54, to overturn AB 450, which criminalizes businesses from working with ICE, and to overturn AB 60, which gives driver's licenses for illegals. And what it also does is it criminalizes sanctuary politicians who break their oath and protect illegal aliens over American citizens.
That's wonderful. So can you please tell us, we're coming to the end of the interview right now. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want people to be able to get your name. What what activism you're involved in, and then the websites where they can go to actually get involved, know about your foundation, learn about it, and contribute?
Absolutely. So you can contribute. So Ben Bergquam I'm Ben Bergquam with Frontline America is my primary organization. That is frontlineamerica.com. You can go there, make donations, click support the mission, and then the other is Fight Sanctuary State. It's fightsanctuarystate.com. And the big thing we need right now, because we don't have the support of the mainstream Republicans, is financial support. And so we're looking for some of the bigger donors. We're in conversations with those right now, but all of the contributions that we can get at fightsanctuarystate.com, every bit helps. It's an uphill battle, but I believe on this issue in particular, we can win. And once we win on an issue, we take ground back. We have to stop compromising. We have to go in with the attitude of victory. I believe once we win on this issue, it gives us an opportunity to then reach another issue, start reaching into the culture, and start taking that ground back from the market left.
Wonderful. Well, I'm hoping that people will hear your message and really it will resonate and they will engage and get involved and also financially contribute. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming on the show. We're going to have you on at a future date. We want to really get a good glimpse into, I think, the Fight Sanctuary State, because that's really where it's at right now, is we have to stand our ground. This is
the issue. And I want everybody, whether you're in California or across the country, we need help. This is the issue that we have to win. If we don't have sovereignty, if we don't have border sovereignty, we no longer have a nation. So no
borders, no nation. We need borders. We need to retain our sovereignty. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again for being on the show. God bless you.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about the Erin Cruz Show, visit us online at erincruz.com. That's ERINCRUZ